Hello, sir.
Good morning. How we doing?
Great. Another week. Monday. We record these on Mondays. It's like we're right on it. It's like I feel like this is how we kick off the week.
This is the first thing I do every week. Is I get the kids in the car, and then I go get coffee, and then I come back here and I talk to you.
Yeah, I like it. I don't know. I would have never thought I'd like the Monday podcast schedule, but I don't know. I feel like it's working for me. It's like, yeah, we get started, get the brain going, like energized.
Mondays are my call days, and I don't super love. I've got like 3 or 4 meetings after this, and I don't love that part. I would love to I would love to have a nice kickoff in the morning, and then be able to like start the week. But instead, I'm starting the week all day long. It's like, okay, we're gonna do a bunch of calls about what we're gonna do this week.
Oh man, I don't know. You gotta talk to these people. Monday calls. That doesn't.
I know.
That doesn't sound right to me. I don't feel like Monday's the day for calls because you always have email stuff that you really have to get to. So that's always a little bit of time. That's okay. Stuff built up over the weekend. You manage that, and then you gotta get into the week. You gotta do some work, and then you want to do some calls Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. You could do calls in there. Like I do.
Okay.
Our one-on-one calls with the team are on Thursday. I feel like that's a good time. It's the end of the week ish. Like, can see what people are up to or if there's any issues. Yeah, Monday, nah. That's not where it's at.
All right, cool. I will put you in touch with my boss and my yes, CEO at Planet Scale. I'll say, y'all don't need to know who this is. His name is Ian. He's a friend, and he has something to tell you. I'm going to go ahead and drop off if you guys could talk.
I'm willing to do it.
I know you are.
I've been in business way longer than them.
I'm not willing to do it. Trust me.
I got some ideas here. I'm bringing in an expert.
I got a lot of problems with you people. Anyway, I'm happy to talk to you, but these other calls, they got to go, man.
Yeah, we'll work on it. Okay. You got to chip away. Get one down. Just start small. Like there's got to be one that you can move, right? So like just start there and then work through the rest of them.
Okay. We'll give that a go. Well, good weekend.
Yeah, nothing too much going on. It's like all kid stuff 24/7, 365. Yep. So that's pretty much what was going on. But what were you up to? I know you have a little bit of news.
Yeah, we're a minivan family now.
Woo!
We did it. I went on, so I've been searching for a couple months just because there's one specific minivan that's going to work for us, and that's the Honda Odyssey.
Okay. I'm an Odyssey man.
Okay, there you go. And the reason is, at least in the model year that we got, which I think is a 22, so we bought it used, and the captain's chairs, so you got the front seats, and then the second row has like bench seats, but you can take out the middle. And so then you have captain's chairs, and the captain's chairs can slide left and right. So you can shove both of the captain's chairs over to one side, and that gives you a little walkway into the back of the van. Yep. And so we got that one because we're going to put the older twins, which will be 2.5 when the new ones come. We'll put them in the back and the newer twins in the front, so we can load the newborns into their car seats, shove the seats over, and then let the rest of the crew climb in the back.
Right.
So,
are they locking themselves in yet, or they still need you back there to help them?
Yeah, okay, they still need us to help them. They think they can do it, but I don't want to break it to them.
Off
They're
the
terrible
side
at it. Yeah. And they get mad. They get mad when we do it. And they're like, well, you're bad at this. If you were better at this, it would be fine, but you're bad at it. I went. So I've been using Car Gurus. I don't know if you've ever heard of Car Gurus.
Oh no, I haven't.
It's like an aggregator. It's very good. So Car Gurus will search dealerships and all of that, and send you an email when something meets your criteria. And they also have a little bit of like price information. So they'll say if it's a good deal, bad deal, great deal, that kind of thing. I don't know how much I trust that, but the important thing is, you set up your search and the emails trickle in and you start to get a sense of it yourself.
Right.
You start to see like, oh wait, I'm seeing all of these coming in at this certain price over this certain mileage and that sort of thing. And so you kind of get a sense of, if you watch it long enough, you know what a good deal is. And one came in, I think one hit my email on Wednesday or Thursday, and it was a great deal. It was a one owner. I think it's got like 22,000 miles. It's a not 2022 model year.
Yeah,
and
so
it's
still warranted and all that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's white. It's not that depressing like mom powder blue color.
Right.
And so we got it. I went on Saturday and bought a minivan.
There you go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
yeah, we've had
yeah.
2 Honda Odysseys. So yeah, for somewhat similar reasons, like that you could pull out that middle row. We never pushed them together. We just left it as the captain chairs, but there's more room between our kids, so like the older ones could go into the back or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, we got one, then we bailed on it, and then I don't know. Oh no, well that one had some weird issues or something, and then we got another one, but the second one didn't last as long, and my wife had just had enough at that point because we had like 5 or 6 years of minivans, and she was like, "No, I'm done with the minivan." So we got a Pilot or something. But yeah. So the minivan though, there's nothing better than the minivan. Like when you have the load of kids and they're little, like the 2 doors, both sides. Plenty of room, you can climb in there. Like the SUV is way worse if you have to deal with more than 2 kids in the back of a car.
I hate to be that guy, but I turned in like all of my cool cards at the dealership when I got the minivan. So I'm just gonna be that guy now.
Just
it's
own
better.
It.
It's better.
Yeah.
It's just
way better.
It's
just
lower to the ground.
Yep.
You can push the button and like the doors just disappear. Like the car's 80% doors, and you can push a button and they just open and you can fly through it. Yeah, it's like a mobile living room. I mean, you can freaking you can push a button and get like a camera view of the kids in the back, and you can talk over the microphone to everybody in the car. It's like, wait,
shut up back there.
Yeah, how big is this thing? So yeah, it's embarrassing to be seen in it, but like once you're inside of it and you enter into that warp field of this is comfortable, you kind of forget about it.
The price is nice, the size is great. I mean, it can double as a truck. Like you could pull those back seats out and you have like tons of room where they go flat.
Take it to the beach, open up the back, sit on the beach, listen to some tunes. There you go.
It'd be like in 10 years you go and you get the cool car again. You get yourself a little Porsche or something, you can exactly have that situation.
In 10 years we'll get a Sprinter van because everybody's going to be big and tall by then. And then when they all turn 16, I don't know what we're going to do. They're just on their own. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Buy 4 cars within 2 years of each other?
This is trick. They're going to have to share, right? Like you don't want to insure 6 cars. Like that's insane. Like,
are you kidding me?
Yeah. And I hate having extra cars. Like we had a 3rd car for a little while at one point, and I was like, this is the freaking worst. Like just the insurance, just dealing with it. Like we only have 2 garage bays. Like the whole thing is terrible. So I don't like the extra cars really at all.
Where am I even going to put 4 cars for 4 teenagers? It's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard of in my life. The good news is, the good news is by then they'll all be cruising around in self-driving cars underground, so it won't
have to worry about it.
I won't have to buy them cars.
They'll just have an app and it'll be fine.
Exactly. I'll just be paying like $1,000 a month. So
you'll wish you could buy a bunch of cars.
Exactly.
Are you rolling with a single car right now, or you have 2 cars?
Well, embarrassingly, we have 3 cars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you know how usually when you buy a new car, you like trade one in or you sell it. Because why would you keep an old car when you get a new car? It just doesn't make any sense at all.
Sure.
Well, unfortunately, we're about to be a 3-adult household. Our au pair comes on Friday.
Oh, that's right, the au pair. Yeah.
So the au pair is getting Jennifer's old car, which is like a VW Atlas. So I've got the 4Runner. The au pair's got the Atlas. Jennifer drives the minivan. Just completely excessive consumption, but I don't know what else to do. I don't know what to do.
This is fine. You didn't even trade in your cool car. You still got the 4Runner. Like that's still. I
still have the 4Runner with the blacked out wheels retro, and the lift. Yeah,
not a lot of tech inside. Like that's the cool hotness these days. So you're still cool.
4-wheel drive, blacked out rims, mud tires. Have I ever taken it off road? Hell no. No way. But it looks so cool. When you see me going through the drive-thru at Chick-fil-A, I look awesome.
There you go. So you're set. You're golden.
Yeah,
you can still get out if you need to.
Yeah.
I do hate when I don't trade in a car though, because like you get that, there's a tax difference when you trade in
I
a
know.
car. You save a bunch on taxes, and
I know I was trying to strong arm the guy, but I didn't have any leverage at the
you got no
dealership.
leverage.
So I was like, I'm not trading it. He asked, so you thinking about trading it in? I was like, I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll have to talk numbers. Meanwhile, knowing I got nothing here. You win. I want this car.
Yeah. When's the au pair come? You said November.
Friday.
Oh, Friday. Oh, wow.
Friday. Yeah.
Awesome. That's great.
If you have any fun like German anecdotes, please send them to me because I got nothing at this point.
Oh man. Well, I mean, I'm sure she speaks good English too, so you'll be all right.
She does. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm looking for more
exciting.
hey, how about this German thing? Like, wow, sausage and stuff,
Schnitzel
right?
and stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So
all right.
that's the best material I have. So clearly,
that's all you got.
Yeah, I need some help.
Oh man. Well, I'm excited for next Monday now. I feel like we almost need to wrap this up. Just go right to next Monday.
I know.
I want to hear all about it. It's gonna be au pair hour. I want to get all the details on this. This is
going to
really
freak
exciting.
her out and be like, "Hey, you want to come in and join this podcast?"
Day 3.
Yeah, this is my friend Ian. You don't need to know anything else.
Just a random internet guy. Let's spend an hour.
Yeah, but whatever you do, don't bring up Monday meetings because he's going to go off. But other than that, he's a nice guy.
I like this plan. I don't usually like podcasts with the third wheel, but then every once in a while it does kind of work. So you never know. Maybe the au pair is a secret weapon.
The au pair is a content strategy that has not been tried nearly enough.
Been tried. I've never seen a podcast
see it
with
very much.
I like this idea. All right, so you got the minivan. Good. You're going to love that thing. It's going to be great.
You.
It's the best thing ever. Wife's going to hate it, hate everything about it. You're going to hate it when you drive it. But throwing the kids in the back, so awesome.
Load them all
Nothing
up.
better. Cool. All right, what's next here? So should we stick with a little bit lighter fare?
Yeah, let's stick with the only somewhat technical finish out the weekend talk. Jennifer and I had a discussion. So Taylor Swift, right?
It's my favorite. My
You heard of her.
favorite non-rap artist, Taylor Swift.
So she's getting a lot of crap because she's going to NFL games. Which why is that her fault? If she's going to NFL games and the cameraman puts the camera on her, why is that her fault? Okay, so that's not even the point of the conversation.
Right.
The point of the conversation, Jennifer and I were having this talk this weekend about how the NFL needs Taylor Swift more than Taylor Swift needs the NFL because, and this was my stipulation, that Taylor Swift is maybe the most famous person in the world. And so then she and I started talking about who is the most famous person in the world. And the only other person that I could come up with was Lionel Messi. And so I thought,
my two favorite things.
I thought, honestly, it's such a shame that Messi is married to his childhood sweetheart and so happy and so wholesome. Because if Taylor Swift and Messi got together, that would be
Incredible.
incredible.
There you go. Well, you just blew my mind there for a second.
I know. Wow. So the question is who's the most famous person in the world? And I thought, maybe Barack Obama, but that's a little old school, old news now. Maybe the Pope, but honestly, I think more people know Messi than the Pope.
I think definitely Messi over the Pope, especially if it was like the concept of the Pope, maybe, but the name of the Pope. Like, I think Messi definitely,
no way.
By name, I think Messi's got the Pope for sure. Yeah, I was going to say like a U.S. president, like possibly Obama, possibly Trump. Maybe even the current one, whoever, Biden, right? Like maybe the current president is always the most famous. I don't know. But then, you would think, like in South America, does everybody know the U.S. president? Like, I don't know. Like, they all know Messi, that's for sure.
And they all know Taylor Swift, surely.
They all know Taylor Swift, I would think. I know soccer's one of those crazy things though, because we don't get that. We don't get the vibe of it in America unless you're more into it. But like soccer is just the thing everywhere else in the whole world, and they don't talk about really like that is the sport in the whole rest of the world for the most part,
and the religion.
Right. And all these places that love soccer, there is pretty much only soccer. Like there's not like in America where there's like 4 big sports, and the NFL is the biggest, but baseball's pretty big too, and NHL isn't really that small, and basketball's not really that small. Like, no, like there's just soccer, and maybe there's some secondary sports, but they're way, way smaller than soccer. So, yeah, I don't know, like Messi or Taylor Swift. It's very hard because obviously
it's hard, right?
U.S. Taylor Swift crushes Messi, although Messi now made a huge game here. Like, in the past, 6 months or whatever, he's come up a lot. So,
Jennifer. We're having the exact same thing. Yes,
it's very tight. I don't know. And could there be anybody else in the mix? Very
the
hard.
only other person, the only other person, honestly, that I thought of was Cristiano Ronaldo. But I feel like Messi is equal
Messi's
to
bigger.
or greater than Cristiano Ronaldo.
I think definitely now that Messi's taken over the U.S., I think he's bigger.
But Ronaldo's taken over the Middle East, right?
Yeah, but he's disappeared. Like, nobody talks about him in soccer anywhere. Like, he's just gone.
True.
I feel like I literally haven't heard anybody say his name since you said it.
He's got $1 billion, but nobody ever thinks of him.
Yeah, he's got the money, but like,
a pretty
he's
good way
totally
to go. Honestly.
Irrelevant. Like,
yeah.
But see, Messi's gonna have $1 billion too, and he's gonna be super famous along with it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go. Man, it's really hard. I might actually go Messi. I think I might go Messi.
That was my
I just
conclusion.
think there's like, yeah, because I just feel like there's little villages in the middle of nowhere that like they know Messi, and I don't think they know Taylor Swift. And so yeah, I'm gonna go Messi. But that's
where I landed. Yep, okay. I will. Dave, if you could cut this part so I can send it to my wife and tell her that Messi is the most famous person in the world. It was honestly, it was pretty Swift? Back and forth. I think she did go Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't really fault her, but I would just. I think it's close for sure. I think I'm going to go Messi.
Yeah. Whew. Yeah. Okay. Glad we got that one out of the way.
We agree again.
That's good.
I like
it.
Do
we want to move on to something somewhat technical?
Yeah. Let's do an update. You got the screencasting.com.
Got the screencasting.com. Got all the vectors pointed in the right direction. Sales have continued to come in, which is nice. Okay. I've done a few podcasts doing the the podcast friendly tour.
Oh, I saw that one. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I did Indie Bites with James McKibben. I did Arvid Calls that hasn't come out as of right now, the Bootstrapped Founder. So I've been doing a few of those. I'm going to try to get on the Lemon Squeezy podcast. Lemon Squeezy is my payment provider, and James McKibben is actually the contractor that runs the Lemon Squeezy podcast. So I'm going to try to get on that one as well.
And they're a Laravel shop, so.
They are. That's right. They used to have Claudio Decker working there. And then there's so Daniel Vassallo on Twitter, the small bets guy?
I don't think so, really. Or not like... I don't follow him anyway.
All right. Well, this is a good setup. So well done, Ian. So Daniel Vassallo on Twitter runs this community called Small Bets, and he's the guy that's basically like, you should have a lot of projects that you ship out. He's like the adult
one a month
Peter
kind
levels.
Of thing or something, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and so ship out a bunch. Yeah, sorry, Peter. You ship out a bunch of projects, see what works, double down on that. And he can be a little controversial on purpose, as marketing,
as it goes.
As it goes. But he's got this community called the Small Bets community with several either 100 or a few thousand people in it, and I'm going to give a screencasting webinar to this community, of which I am a part. I was in cohort number 5 or 6 of this Small Bets community, so early on. So I reached out to him and I was like, hey, do you want to be an affiliate? And he said, no, why don't you come and give a webinar? We'll pay you for the webinar, which I'm like, okay, you have
now
my
we're
interest.
Talking.
Yeah. And you can also talk about your course as much as you want. But basically, I'm going to go give a 1 hour, or maybe 45 minutes or something, webinar to that community. And so far, it's got like 100 registrants, which is good. But it also goes into their evergreen like content library. And so they've got stuff on like, how to grow on LinkedIn, how to do your finances, and I'll be alongside that in the the content librberry. So yeah, like I feel like that's a good a good strategy.
I love that idea. I really like that strategy a lot. That's one I have to say I haven't really thought of before, and I think I'm going to steal that for a little bit down the line here for our stuff, because people are always looking for content. If they have some type of group or organization, there's always like, well, they do something monthly or they do something semi-annually, and they're always looking for people to talk at it that's interesting and different and outside their sphere of what they normally do, but still kind of relevant. So yeah, I like that idea of it, going out and maybe finding some more things like that. But that's sort of the thing too. Like, it's also interesting what he said about affiliates, because I feel like this is like the eternal thing with affiliates, is unless you... it's just like, it's just not that much money, and it's hard to find people for where that much money is going to motivate them.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, even if you're very generous with it and you're doing 30% or 40% or 50% even, right? It's like, well, it's $100, and how many of these can I actually sell?
I know.
And am I going to really do a whole bunch of work to sell 3 or 4 of these things and make $300? Like, so that is where the affiliates, even with the SaaS stuff, like in my stuff that sometimes can be thousands of dollars, it's like, still, and we have an affiliate program, and there are a few people in it, and they sell a little bit and whatever, but it's not a big mover because it's just hard to make it that way for most sales, especially for like kind of Twitter people who are like, well, I'll write a blog post or I'll do that. Like they're not out there trying to sell to major corporations and close a $30,000 sale. They're just trying to, get some people from the internet to click through, and that's going to usually be a smaller sale. So,
yeah, I feel like the affiliates, or I haven't done it well, or I feel like affiliates aren't great. But I haven't been super blown away by any affiliate sale, and maybe it's one of those situations where it's like an uneven distribution. You have 99 affiliates that get a sale or 2, and then you have one affiliate that comes along and they're like, oh, I'm going to set up a whole funnel around this and sell 3,000 of them. It's like, all right, well, I guess I'll expose myself to that luck and see if it happens, but it hasn't happened yet.
I think there's also like these worlds where like it fits in better. Like I know like ConvertKit did well with them for a time and stuff like that, but there was like all the email providers had it. And so like people had these whole websites that were just like, choose your email provider, and like they're ranking in the SEO. And since they just have all the major email providers, it was like, this was like their whole side business was like having, it doesn't matter if you click ConvertKit or MailChimp or whatever, they're going to get 20% or whatever.
And in perpetuity, so right? With software, they got it in perpetuity.
Was in perpetuity. I think they might have changed that, but
that's
at one point it was. So you could like build up some recurring revenue there and whatever, but actually HelpSpots is in perpetuity too currently. But again, like still, it's not quite the same because there isn't the rest of the ecosystem doesn't really have big affiliate programs either. Right. So it's like there isn't these whole world of like people optimizing for that. So yeah, I like this idea of out kind of going out and talking to bigger groups, and hey, if they're paying you for it, even better.
Well, I know. Why is that bad? I know. It's awesome.
It's awesome.
So yeah, that'll be good. And then we've got some like, I've still got some teardowns that I'm going to release, and I've still got some, screencaster spotlights that I'll continue to work on and release. Yep. And then I think I'm gonna do the idea that you and I talked about that I'll take joint credit for, even though it was your idea completely. Yeah. But now it's just lost to history who had what idea. It's just,
who knows?
There was a good idea on the show, so we'll call it 50-50.
Yeah.
But that idea that we both had about renting camera gear and talking about specifically how do you set it up for webcams, Zooms, screencasts?
I think that's going to crush. Like,
I think so.
Dedicated pages, or even if like you go both ways, right? Like you have a YouTube video about it that's like super dedicated to it, and then that video is embedded on a page that has a bunch of text about it and whatever. Like both angles there. I think that would be. I don't know. I feel like that's going to do really well. Obviously, I mean the thing always with SEO is it's going to take 6 months or whatever, right? Or 8 months or whatever it takes. It's going to take a while to build up, but if you can get some links to it and get maybe a little bit of attention on it just to get it going and get it out there, I really think that should do a nice baseline.
Yeah, and I feel like augmenting it or even making the main thing the YouTube channel or YouTube video on that is going to boost it. It's going to shorten that timeline a whole lot, because when I release stuff on the Planet Scale channel and I look at like the external versus YouTube browse or whatever, the external is usually like 25 or 30% of people come from outside of YouTube, and 98% of those people come from Google search.
Right.
And so I feel like that's gonna boost or shorten that timeline of people actually finding the content by putting it on YouTube. Yeah,
I agree. Especially because Google these days really doesn't, like, it's so buried natural SEO, native SEO and whatever, and organic SEO, I guess I should say. And so it's always looking to put like the videos at the top or its own box at the top or whatever. Right. So if you are in the videos there, and and like we talked about, I mean, even when you search the specific camera models, there's like very rarely a direct video on it, or the one or two there are, it's like terrible. It's like not well
it's
done.
like, so I've watched a few of these, and it's like the Canon M50, all of the features. It's like, I don't want all the features.
Right, exactly. It's always that.
I want
it's
you
buried
to
in
show
there,
me how to set it up so that I can look awesome on a meeting or on a screencast or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, okay, if you're going to use it for outdoor videography, and you're like, I'm not. I don't want to.
Yeah, coming from that place of like, I'm going to buy this camera and I'm only using it to set it up behind my desk to do stuff over streaming video or recording video from my desk is just its own very specific niche with its own requirements. And yeah, there's just very rarely videos directly about that.
Several of the videos I watched don't even talk about the wired battery. So it's like, the faux battery that you plug into the wall. And I'm like, that's step 0. If you're going to use it as a webcam, you got to have a battery. Yeah. Yes. So I do feel like there's a content gap there. And if I can pull off like renting all these from a local, there are a couple of rental places in Dallas. So that'll be, I feel like, fun and really good content. So. Yeah.
And on the Sonys, I'll give you a tip. You don't actually need the faux battery. Now, the newer ones have USB-C, and you can just plug USB-C into a USB-C brick and power it that way. Or even just USB-C off the computer. Although that changes the video. The way I run it is USB-C into a power brick, and then HDMI into the cam link is the way I currently run it. But there are some different options there. But yeah, so... But exactly. So having
when you hear that exact phrase come out of my mouth on the video about the Sony, don't source me. Don't leave a comment that said I came up with this idea.
Aaron stole all my good ideas.
That's right. Yeah. Be like, who's this Ian guy? He's blocked from my channel.
Oh, too much. But all right. So I like that. Awesome. So screencasting.com, the domain, ongoing.
Yep. Everybody go buy it.
Go buy it. If you haven't, go check it out. Cool. So, all right, let's do some Laravel stuff, some other stuff here. I saw Laracon India opened RFPs. I think it might have been today or yesterday or something like that. Yep. I don't know. You going to Laracon India?
Apparently the most thrilling and exciting and dancing conference on the planet.
I know.
From the videos last year.
I know. It's so tempting. It's like
it
seems
tempting.
Like so different.
I know. I watched all these videos, and that conference looks like a freaking blast. They're like up on stage eating fire and then Taylor's crowd surfing. Around. Yeah. Like, what is going on? So I don't know. It seems awesome to me. However, I looked it up, and Texas not close to India.
Really?
Yeah. I searched this one first this time because last time I was like, oh, yeah, Vermont. I'll just drive there. And then I got in the car and was like, holy crap. So I looked it up first this time. India, yeah, far away.
Texas is sort of shaped like India a little bit, but
that is true. Maybe
apparently they're far apart.
Yeah, maybe
very far.
Help.
You'll have like 7-month-olds or whatever. I don't know. Actually,
I'll have like 40 kids at that point. When
right.
when is Laracon India? Do you remember?
I don't even remember now. Is it like February? No, it can't be February.
That would be good to know. Laracon India. Laracon.in.
Exciting podcasting as
people
listen to us type.
Hey,
it is February.
Is it?
February 25th. Yep. I think when
it's not.
Is it old? Oh, this is 2023. Oh, wait.
It's March 23rd, 2024.
Oh, there it is. They tricked me. Yep.
They did. They tricked you by leaving up their old website, I guess.
They have a badass logo. The logo is
I know.
rocking. The 2024 logo is off the hook. Like, whoever did that logo's props. I think it's great.
So, here's the deal. March 23rd. Let's see. November, December, January, February, March. 4-month-olds. No way.
You love going to India with 4-month-olds.
No way.
You bring them with you. That's what you do.
I'm not. Listen.
24 hours of flights. No big deal.
Freaking
4 kids.
way. That's never going to happen.
Yet, you take all the kids to the conference. The wife stays home, gets a breather.
Yeah, for sure.
I like this idea. This is the play.
You know, legally, I can't fly that way because there aren't enough adults for the oxygen mask. There's like a limit that we bumped into at some point because I think in a row of 3 you can't have 2 under 3 or something like that. So regardless of all the other absurdities, I can't even legally fly with them. So Laracon India is going to be a miss for me. Man, it's all happening at once, isn't it? Laracon EU is, I think, in February. Laracon Australia is coming up soon.
Yeah, that's
and then Laracon India is in March.
Yeah, EU is February 5th. I'm sure I got that one right. And AU
There's a lot of Laracons, man.
I know there's too many Laracons now.
Whoa. There's not too many Laracons.
I know,
there's just enough Laracons. And then Laracon US rumored to be in Vegas. Ian loves Vegas.
I love Vegas.
We're never going to see Ian. There are going to be conference talks going on, and you're going to be at the blackjack table.
You will not see me. No, how I play that, if I have an actual work thing in Vegas, the play there is you just have your vacation time before and or after. So I'll be there. I'll be there.
And or
depending. Sometimes, depending how the dates work out, you might need to do a day before, a day after.
You might stay after, and you got to chase the losses. That's how you get them
there
back.
There you go. That's exactly right. You got to chase your losses. So obviously I'm only playing poker, so I'm not. There is a skill element to this as opposed to just.
It's not actually gambling.
It's not actually gambling.
It's a skill. Okay.
It is a skill.
Yeah, spoken like a true degenerate. Poker's not actually gambling.
It's not. Any one hand could be gambling.
You're not even really playing against the house. You're playing against the other people around the table.
You are. That's correct.
Listen, I know all the lines. Lines. You're not gambling.
We're gonna convert you to poker.
I like poker. I love poker. I'm not very good at it, but I like it.
So we're gonna
People
go.
We're always
in Vegas.
talking about pot odds and
a little math.
Well,
you like math?
Oh, I love math, but listen, I don't want to know what are the pot odds here? Oh, that's a donk bet. All these words, I don't.
You already got it all.
I don't know what it means. I know what they say, but I don't know what it means. I'm like, well, I feel like my cards are good, so I'm gonna bet. That's kind of how I play.
I could teach you in 20 minutes everything you need to know to be better than 90% of the other players.
I do like being better than 90% of people.
Yeah.
So maybe we could do that. That would be fun. So listen, here you go, Taylor. You should make it happen in Vegas. So Laracon US is officially in Vegas now. That's spoken here on the Mostly Technical podcast.
We're dropping news.
And then we should have a pre-Laracon Laravel poker tournament run by Ian.
Official poker tournament of Laracon. That would actually be interesting. I wonder if we could pull that off.
And I don't know, we can get bracelets made. Don't you guys love bracelets?
Yes, we love bracelets.
We'll get bracelets.
You know what we could do? It doesn't even actually take any work because in Vegas, there's tournaments running at a bunch of the different casinos every day. So we just pick one and say we're all going to go to that. That's the official. We just go there. We make the bracelets as a side thing.
That's right.
And then we're all there. And there'll be 30 other randos in with us, and then Laravel people.
But they're a bunch of losers. We're smarter than them.
I know, because I'm going to teach everybody how to be better than them in 20 minutes. It's no big deal.
Oh, so that was a hustle.
Yeah, it's a hustle.
Now we're running a scam. I like that.
Here's the thing. You gotta. We're not gonna go through all the 20 minutes of stuff now. But I will say, the main thing is you can't play the lowest stakes. The lowest stakes, you pay too much to the house, even though you're not playing the house, but you're paying too much rake to the house. So that does make it harder to actually be profitable. So you want to be one up at least from the base level. So you want to play 2-5.
2-5.
Then a few little tips, and you will be better than everybody else out there.
All right, I'm in. So officially, Laracon US is in Vegas. Sign up to our mailing list to hear about the poker tournament.
Vegas is so great. Vegas is definitely where I need a condo in Vegas at some point in my life. No state tax. I love that. Mm-hmm. They got the desert. I love the desert.
Oh yeah, desert. What's not to love about the desert?
The desert is unbelievable.
Sand and the no rain and the heat.
Oh
yeah, it's
not
awesome.
even that sandy. The Vegas desert. They got the little trees and the bushes and stuff. You got the mountains. Oh wow.
Yeah, trees and bushes. That's amazing. Desert sounds awesome.
Desert is awesome.
What's to love about the desert?
I love the desert. It's so different than here. First of all, here we have all these trees and all this stuff and rivers. The desert, you just have it's reds and browns.
Man, you're going to listen. Wait till you hear about the moon.
Beautiful hiking.
There is nothing up there. You're going to love it. It's like the desert, but worse. You're going to love it.
I mean, what Texas is almost a desert, right? What's going on in Texas?
First of all, how dare you? No, a desert. I live in Dallas. It's hot, but we don't. Yes, we have lots of trees and grasslands and.
Do you really grasslands?
I don't know. I was gonna say grass, and then I added lands, and it felt a little. I heard it coming out.
I don't know. Yeah. Here's all I remember about Texas. I've been to Texas, I think, only once. It was farther south than you. It was down San Antonio.
Yep.
But everything was brown. Like everything.
Yeah, that's San Antonio.
The road is brown.
Yep.
They make the road out of something brown. I've never seen that before. The side, everything's brown. So
that's San Antonio.
I mean, you're like one step from the desert. Like maybe it's not.
But San Antonio
desert,
is one step from the desert. San Antonio. Sorry, Chris Fideloper, who's listening.
He's moved.
San Antonio's lame. I'm sorry.
I don't. Oh, not a San Antonio fan. Interesting.
Not a San Antonio fan. They have bumper stickers that say like, you know how they have "Keep Austin Weird" bumper stickers. Right. They have some for San Antonio, and I don't remember the exact word, but it's like, keep San Antonio boring, basically. It's like, yeah, San Antonio is kind of boring.
All right, so now, I don't know about this. So I knew Austin is its own thing from like the rest of Texas. But now is Dallas its own thing from the rest
for sure.
From the south of Texas or whatever?
Yes,
it's got its own vibe.
Sure. It's got its own vibe. The less charitable take on Dallas is that it's a lot of oil money and finance bros and rich people.
Right.
The maybe more neutral take is that it's like not as hippie drippy weird as Austin and more just like normal city.
More middle of the road.
Yeah, but like the view. So if you ask someone from Austin, Houston, or San Antonio what they think about Dallas, it'd be like, oh, rich snobs for sure.
Right.
And those definitely do exist. Like if you go over into, certain parts of Dallas, it's very rich. Lots of old money up here, which I don't super get. I guess it's oil from way back.
Yeah, I always picture Houston. Houston is my oil money city. I feel like that's oil money, but I don't know, maybe that's not accurate. That's just what I project onto it. But then I guess you have Dallas for this TV show from way back before you were born. Right. So I don't know.
I think there are more oil operations in Houston because you're down near Galveston and the Gulf, and so you have more like actual operations.
Ooh, that's refining money. That's the old refining money, shipping money.
But in terms of like actually like the the financing and the operating of the businesses, I think a lot of that happens up here in Dallas. Lots of commercial real estate bros up here too, which is not great. But
is Dallas like the New York City of Texas? Then you would say,
yeah, except it's like a finance hub. Yeah. We don't have time. I hate New York City. Yeah, we don't have time.
See, because you never went with me.
There's garbage everywhere.
If you go with me, you'll have a great time. There's no garbage. New York City is like the safest, cleanest city in the world. Are you going to remove all the scaffolding along every single road and guys pooping in boxes? Okay. The scaffolding so they don't drop stuff on your head.
Right, because they're always where it feels so claustrophobic. No, man. You're locked in.
You got to come to New York City with me.
New York City is the worst.
No, it's the best. Oh, man. This might be the end of the podcast, everybody. This could be it. This might be the last episode.
Next week, it's just going to be Ian and the au pair because Aaron has been booted.
In New York City, live from New York City.
Yeah, live from New York City.
Oh, boy.
All right, that's the Laracon India segment somehow.
There we go. So we talked about everything but India.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm going out there, but I want to go at some point. I got to get out there.
Yeah, same.
All right. So we got a Laravel item.
We do.
This came up in the last yesterday, I think it was.
Yeah, tee us up here.
I got to bring up the tweet. But Christoph Rumpel, who's a fan of the show, I believe, and just friend of the Laravel, noted this method that I was not aware of, and I'm curious if you're aware of this. The soul, I guess it's what would you call it? Yeah, off a collection, right? I guess it's a soul method, you'd call it. I always use first when I just want one, and that's his point, is that you could use first, but soul is better than first because it ensures that only one item is even in the collection, which is kind of amazing. And if you have like 4 items in the collection, that's going to throw an error. Not just give you the first one like first does. So what are your thoughts here?
So didn't really know about this method. Haven't actually used it. Saw the tweet real time and was like, Huh. That's interesting. I like that.
I think I like it.
I think I like it too. So sole, S-O-L-E, meaning like singular.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an alternative to the collection first method. And so the docs say that the sole method returns the first element in the collection that passes a given truth test, but only if the truth test matches exactly one element. So I think the difference here between sole and first is that sole has an enforcement mechanism to ensure that the collection only has a singular item.
Right.
And where this can be helpful is if you are, so like, let's say you have you've got a collection of whatever. What is this? His is videos. So you've got a collection of videos and you want to pull a certain video out of the collection. It is possible that there are duplicates in there, and if you use the first method, you might be pulling one or the other. But if you use the sole method, you're going to get an exception. I presume it throws an exception.
Yeah,
but you're going to be alerted that, hey, there are actually 2 of those items in here, and you probably just want there to be one. And so it feels like the first method with a little bit of safety or extra assurance. Is that how it strikes you?
Yeah, that is. And I think his point initially was to use it in tests so that the test, where you expect there to be only a single item, that there is in fact only a single item. It's like actually checking for that. But I even thought in production it's kind of interesting because like this would actually alert you when there's lots of times where you think there's only one record, but what if you actually are and something's wrong in the database or whatever, and there's actually 100 records. And
yes,
whether it's just performance wise or you have an actual like data issue. Either way, like to be made aware of that by getting an actual error is pretty interesting, I think. I
wonder if this is on the database builder or the query builder as well. Do we know that? Or is it just a collection method?
I think it is. I think all the collection methods just about, or maybe actually all of them, can come off of the, it's run through there.
If you execute the query, you're going to get back an eloquent collection, which will then have all of these methods. But I wonder, is this method like on the database level?
It's not, because actually he pasted the code for it. It's just like taking the collection, counting it. Actually, it's the second. There's a thread. The second item in the thread shows it, and it's just like if it's 0, it throws an exception for no records. If it's more than 1, it throws an exception for multiple records.
Gotcha.
And then otherwise, it then just internally calls first, actually. So it's actually like a wrapper for first.
We love a wrapper. We love a convenience wrapper. I think that's great.
There's this old school PHP person in me that I can just never, it's so hard for me to get away from him. But when I see things like this, I'm like, man, that's gotta like execute that stuff again. And it's just like, and I'm like, it's fine. Like it just calls. It's not slow. It's fine. It doesn't make any difference.
We won the war, Ian. It's over.
I know. But whenever I see these things, I'm like, oh, it wraps it, and that's an extra call, and then it's doing these couple extra checks, and like, what if I'm calling that thousands of times?
Should I use single quotes or double quotes here?
Yes,
Which one's faster? Yeah.
I still get stressed about these things, but I'm trying to put it aside, but it's very difficult. It's so baked into my core.
We have unlimited free compute now, so you can just run stuff over and over and over.
That's amazing. But yeah, I know. I love these little things. I don't know if Taylor actually made this one or it feels Taylor-ish, like its name at least.
The name is definitely Taylor-ish.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool, I thought. Little helper. I love these little helpers. There's so many little things in Laravel now. It's just like all these little helpers.
I know. I don't know if I've ranted here about it, but reading the docs straight through, big deal.
I think you mentioned that once.
Yeah, and this is another example of like, man, if I had read the collection docs straight through, which I haven't, if I had read the collection docs straight through, I would know that this method exists. And, maybe I forgot what exactly it does, but I would be able to come back here and be like, oh yeah, there's a sole method that's kind of like the first method. I should go look at that. So haven't done that. Guess I got to do that.
The first method has always kind of bothered me a little bit too, because for basically this reason that I really just want because I have a query that I know is only returning one thing, and then calling first on it sort of bothers me. So I actually like this even better, just like for my mental model of what's going on. That, like,
somebody
yes,
that doesn't like the
there's only a
first
soul.
method.
Well, I like the first method, but like when you're using it in that way, no, I just don't like it in that particular scenario.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Sometimes I might have a query that's got 50 things, but I know I just want the first one. Then that's what first is for. But now this is what soul is for. That when I should only have one.
I'm just surprised this isn't available on like the actual query builder. Like first is available as a collection method and a query builder method. But I guess there's no way, let's see, is there even a way to determine soul on a query level? No, you would have to pull back at least 2 results and then do that in code to throw the exception anyway. So maybe it's
if it was going to do this whole exception thing. Yeah.
So maybe it doesn't
I guess
matter.
it could be on the query level, and then it could send the limit so that it only ever returns 1 for sure.
No, you'd have to return 2 to know if there was more than 1. Yeah.
Yes, for that part, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm saying if you wanted soul to be not do what this does, but you wanted to always make sure like if soul was just a wrapper for a limit, then it could enforce that you only get 1 back, even if the query would have otherwise had more.
That's what your friend first does, though. Just puts a limit on it.
Oh, does it?
Uh-huh. Imagine that.
So I guess then soul on the collection makes sense, but soul
on the query doesn't make sense.
Wouldn't make sense. Interesting.
We've come to it. That's why it doesn't exist on the query builder.
There we go.
We've independently derived a base truth here on the pod.
Now though, I think that we have a case for first is completely misnamed on the query builder.
What do you mean first is misnamed? This gives you the first one.
No, it's giving you the only one. So it should
may be the only one, but it's giving you the first one.
So it should be called only or soul.
Nonsense.
I think
this
so.
Is wild. No,
it's not first. First implies more than one. You can't be the first if you're the only. I mean, you are.
If you are the only, you're definitely the first.
I understand, but you know what I'm saying. It implies that there can be more than one, and that case there can never be more. No, not if you call first on the query builder. There can never be more than one because you said that it sets a limit.
It does set a limit, but
so it can never be more than one.
There are more in the database.
Well, there may not be.
I know, that's fine, but you are guaranteed that you're going to get the first, even if it is the only.
You're going to get the soul. You are going to guarantee that you get the soul.
But it's not the soul. There may be more in the database.
But there's not going to be more in this record set.
There's not going to be more in the collection, no.
Right.
But we're talking about we're talking about a database
that's true.
method.
But first is the same thing. First isn't guaranteeing you the first in the series of results. It's putting a limit there.
Which is the first in the series of results.
Well, I guess depending on what you're doing with the rest of the query, but it might just be the only. What if you don't have a where clause?
Which is still the first.
It's the first because you limited it, but it's not the first in an order.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel like I'm going crazy.
I'm a soul truther.
Open the PR and see how
I'm gonna open the PR.
Yeah, I would love to see
I'm gonna open the PR. That's it. He has. I mean, I don't think you would.
That's the most insane segment we've ever done.
Finally, conflict on the podcast.
No sense.
We've been waiting. It makes total sense.
Lost your mind.
First should be soul. Or only. I like only. Is there an only already? Only seems kind of familiar, but maybe not. Telling you. I'm going deep on this.
Why that tickled me so much. You lost your mind on that one. It's so wrong.
No, it's not wrong.
Oh, wow. Good tweet,
wrong.
Christoph.
I guarantee you.
Thanks for
Taylor's
the tip, Christoph.
probably bothered by this. Taylor probably calls first all the time, and he's like, this really shouldn't be called first in this scenario. It's really only. It's really only.
I'm crying. That's so ridiculous.
No, it should be called. I really think it should be called only. Is actually the term I would use. That's only.
Yeah, that's a good term, Ian. That would be really great.
Or one. What about one?
Yeah, wow.
One would be a good one too.
One, yeah, that would be a great one. So check out the Soul docs if you want to learn more.
We like Soul on collections, at least. We agree
do.
there.
That much we can agree on.
We agree.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Okay.
Wow.
All right.
What's
one
Pico?
more item here.
Yeah.
Have you heard it? Have you seen this peak? So this is like real time. This is
Yeah,
like
I
Caleb.
saw Caleb. Caleb's looking for a CSS framework. We've got a CSS framework. What are you doing, man?
So
you
that was
keep
like
it in the family.
10 minutes before the podcast, he posted about this.
I saw that.
But see, I kind of like this thing because he was looking for a framework, a CSS framework that doesn't basically like have any options. Like you just throw it in and it auto styles everything with no other work. Like you don't use any classes. It just does something nice for the default HTML. And I actually think that's super awesome. And then, so he found this Pico CSS, which that's what it does. It makes like a modern looking UI, but you don't have anything in your HTML except just like p tags and inputs and whatever. No classes at all.
I can get behind this. So you basically you write good HTML with labels, inputs, switches, forms. It looks like it's real form heavy.
Yeah, I presume it's mostly that, right? Because I mean, you still would need some stuff. Like I wonder if it does like grid stuff or not.
Does it do like the Tailwind CSS Pros thing where if you write H1, H2, P tag, is it nice typography?
I think it does do that. And then it looks like for grid, there is a class for grid, but it's just like you do a div with inner divs. The only class is, class grid on the wrapping div. And then, it just makes a div there, but otherwise doesn't do anything.
So I like the concept of like you just write HTML and this is going to go based on tags and attributes, which I always love selecting stuff in CSS based off of attributes. I think that's a really nice way to do that. But I don't know. I'll be honest. I think I only have room in my brain for one CSS framework, and that's Tailwind. Right. I just feel like at this point, Tailwind is like
It is CSS.
It is CSS. To me, and when I
me too.
When I write Tailwind classes, this is one of the great things that I don't think anyone ever talks about, and I would never talk about Tailwind on Twitter because I don't want the replies. I just want the drama. I don't have the energy.
Is there even drama? I don't know.
There's so much Tailwind drama.
I feel like it's taken over fully. It's like
it has, and so the drama's even worse because everybody feels oppressed. So when I write Tailwind classes, I can visualize in my head what it's going to look like. And I feel like that is just the best. I can be like, in the code, be writing P2 and think, no, I don't even need to look. This should be a P4 for sure.
Right. Yeah.
And that feels good to me. This Pico looks cool. But I could see maybe in what Caleb is doing here is he's using it for like screencasts and stuff. And so he just wants to be able to focus on the actual markup, because I could see, styling being a distraction if you're not teaching that part of the stack. So, but this looks
I think
good.
for those specialized use cases, right? Yeah, like screencasting, I think would be awesome. Like it's like I'm trying to teach you some code that's whatever, PHP or whatever I'm doing, and like I don't want a bunch of classes in there just mucking up the whole thing. And then and then obviously like having it render one way but show it a different way is a huge pain in the butt. So like this way you can just have it clean. Or like in documentation, if you have one of these things where it's like rendering examples in the documentation or whatever, it's like, no, here's like something that looks nice, it looks reasonable. Like, I don't think this is for building your whole, like an actual app in necessarily or anything like that. But I do think for the like edge cases where even Tailwind is just going to be more verbose than maybe you want for one reason or another. It's just like, no, here's just like, there's nothing, there's no classes. And it just looks nice and you can take a screenshot or somebody can browse an example and have a reasonable looking example without, and less work for you. You don't have to like think of like what should this look like and all that stuff. Just throw in this Pico and
I buy that.
Nice.
So I'm looking at the installation docs. You've got install manually, install from CDN, install with npm. Great, reasonable. Below that is install with Composer. Like when are we getting first party like top level billing for installing a CSS framework? This is kind of awesome.
I don't know. I wonder who did this. Like I don't even see like
Composer require Pico CSS Pico. That's interesting. Yeah, that's not something I would have expected there.
I don't know.
Yeah, is this friend of the community?
Who's the biggest contributor? Yeah, there's something looking. Not anybody. Lucas LaRoche. Not anybody I recognize.
It just feels very PHP adjacent to have.
He's in Thailand, so maybe he's in like other circles there.
Yeah, maybe. Cool.
But yeah, let's see. He only has 4 repositories. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, picocss.com. So y'all check it out.
I think he's a top contributor, right? Or maybe, is this in order? Maybe this contributor thing isn't in order. I thought it used to be in order, but maybe not. That could just be a random.
Yeah, I think Lucas LaRoche is the top.
Yeah, he is, yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know. It's sort of cool. I think for a special use case, I like special use case things, like where it's like, yeah, this isn't for everybody. This is for this little edge case that's special, and we got a special little thing for it.
Yeah, so if anybody's using Pico for anything, let us know, because I would be curious. I would be curious where it really shines. Yeah.
All right, man. What else? Anything else we have to cover here?
I don't think so. I'm just.
You got meetings.
I got meetings, but I'm just going back to this First Soul thing, and I'm just I can't focus. You
got a topic for your meetings. You got to talk about this in the meetings. You be like, listen, we're gonna do a bunch of videos on First, because the people out there, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They don't know how it works. They don't know what they're doing. Obviously, it's a knowledge gap, and we need to fill it.
Madness.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
That's the show. That was a good one. Let's call it there.
All right. Well, if you want to find us, mostlytechnical.com, mostlytechpod on X, and mostlytechnicalpodcast@gmail. If you want to throw in your 2 cents on Pico, or if we should have a sole or only method on the query builder. And
yes, please send us an email with that. I want to just prove how right I was.
All right. Have a good one, everybody.
All right. Talk soon.
Bye.